Why do people believe the earth is flat? The earth is round. That's the starting point most of us never question. It's taught early, reinforced constantly, and backed by science that seems settled. But here's something that makes this topic worth exploring. There are people who have looked at all that and rejected it. Not casually, not jokingly, but with full confidence that the earth is flat. Okay, so instead of asking how can they believe that, ask something better. What makes that belief feel true to them? Belief isn't just about facts. It's about how people interpret reality, who they trust, and how they process information. In this video, we're going to break that down in a clean, structured way. No mocking, no overcomplicating, just simple explaining. We'll cover how someone gets pulled into that idea, the main claims behind the flat earth thinking, the deeper conspiracy framework, why modern space missions don't always change their minds, and how science actually responds briefly and cleanly. Flat earth belief usually doesn't begin with a full conspiracy. It starts with a moment of doubt, something small like, why does everything look flat but it's supposed to be curved? That question matters because it challenges something that people accept fully without personally verifying. From there, curiosity kicks in. A search leads to videos, videos lead to longer explanations. And those explanations often frame the idea not as a theory but as something obvious that's been ignored. The key shift appears here. The person stops asking, is this true? And starts asking, why was this hidden? That changes the direction completely. One of the biggest gaps between scientific explanation and personal experience is scale. The Earth is massive, so massive that its curvature is extremely subtle at human level. This creates a disconnect. Science says one thing, daily experiences suggest another. Flat Earth arguments take advantage of that gap. They focus entirely on what can be directly seen, measured, or experienced, without advanced tools. Anything beyond that, like satellite imagery or orbital mechanics, is treated as unnecessary or unreliable. So, the standard for truth becomes, if I can't personally verify it, I question it. And that standard, while understandable, is very limiting. At some point, the belief system expands, because if the Earth is flat, then something else must also be true. The accepted model of the world must be wrong and intentionally so. That means new information doesn't break the belief, it gets absorbed into it. If something supports the flat earth idea, it's accepted. If something contradicts it, it's classified as a part of the cover-up. This creates a system that reinforces itself. There is also a psychological appeal that doesn't get talked about enough. Flat earth belief offers a complete reinterpretation of how the world works. It turns ordinary things into mysteries. The horizon becomes a question, flight paths become suspicious, space imagery becomes debatable, and everything gets re-examined. That process can feel engaging, even exciting, because instead of passively accepting information, the person feels like they're actively uncovering it. And that sense of discovery can be hard to let go of. Now, let's bring in something current. Artemis 2. This mission is a part of a larger effort to send humans around the moon again. From a scientific standpoint, it's a major step forward. But within the flat earth framework, it doesn't function as proof. Instead, it gets interpreted through the existing belief system. Some may see it as a demonstration designed for the public viewing, a controlled narrative, or simply unrelated to the actual structure of the earth. This highlights an important point. Evidence doesn't speak for itself. It is always filtered through what someone already believes. So even something as large as a space mission doesn't automatically resolve the disagreement. Now, briefly, let's step back and look at how science approaches the shape of the Earth. Instead of relying on a single piece of evidence, it builds a conclusion from multiple independent observations. For example, the way a ship disappears over the horizon, the changing position of stars depending on location, time zones and daylight patterns, measurements taken from different points on Earth. Each of these can be tested, repeated, and verified, and importantly, they all point to the same conclusion. Science doesn't depend on one authority, it depends on consistency across many methods. At the end of all this, the most important thing to understand is this. Beliefs are not formed in isolation. They're shaped by experience, trust, environment, and the way information is encountered over time. Flat Earth beliefs is one example of how those factors can align in a specific direction. And while the conclusion itself is widely rejected by science, the process behind it is something everyone shares, because everyone in some area has beliefs they've built over time, based on what they felt convincing, consistent, and trustworthy. So instead of seeing this as just a debate about the shape of the earth, it's more useful to see it as a case study in how ideas spread, how belief systems form, and how difficult it can be to change them once they're established. And that's something that applies far beyond this topic. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a thumbs up.